This is my 1960s Fishmaster trailer boat that I restored from a $100 piecer. The seats were worn out, the whole body was wobbly, and the floor was missing. When I used it on the lake, it would leak about 1 to 2 cups of water per hour. So, I initially rebuilt the transom and seats with marine-grade plywood, but everyone warned that I was corrosive to aluminum, and sure enough, about a year afterward, I removed all the plywood, and there's massive corrosion going on. So, believe the experts and don't do it, unlike me. I decided to rebuild it from the ground up, so I used angle aluminum. That was about, I think it was 1/4 inch aluminum, and that worked out really well. It added a lot of rigidity to it. What else? I covered it with outdoor carpet from one of the box stores, and I replaced all the missing aluminum rivets, or the leaking ones, with solid rivets. A lot of people use the hollow core pop rivets, but I wasn't into that. And I originally was loading this in and out of a truck, but I didn't want to do that, so I got a trailer, rebuilt that, put new bunks on it, rewired it, put new lights on it, and new tires. And let's give you a tour of the actual boat now that that's done. So there's a couple sealers out there. I don't remember the more expensive name brand that everyone uses, but I use Coat-It by Goop, and if you're wondering, it works great. I got 1 to 2 cups an hour on the lake, and once I use Goop, I don't even have a drop that I've never noticed. It's been about a year now, and it's just amazing stuff. It's real thick with graphite in it, and it will run and be messy if you put too much on, so if you use it, less is kind of more with this product. A lot of the kayaks, if you've noticed, have steering for your feet, and I went with that system. So, you can see my seat is offset from the motor to counteract the weight of the battery. But if I want to be centered, I use these Camlock, basically carabiners from Home Depot. I haven't found them anywhere else, and they're better than the Night Eyes Camlock carabiners. I used the original plastic Night Eyes, and those wore out. Couldn't even tarp my boat with them. But these Home Depot ones have a real aggressive teeth on them. I highly recommend them. So, I can center my seat up. And with a couple quick pulls, I am in action. I just put that stainless steel eye bolt into the back of the seat, which is just mounted to a pedestal base, and that will steer my motor. If I turn left, the boat will turn left, which you have to cross your lines in order to do that. When I first did this, I just used a carabiner back here, and I found there was too much friction, so I had to go get some pulleys. They're about $1.50 at the hardware store, and it really loosened things up. Also, I used the little Night Eyes carabiner here, and you can see it's stretched. So I'm going to go down to the hardware store and get one of these threaded loops. I think these are 75 cents. My Minn Kota setup uses a Rugged X clamp. I believe it's the smallest of them. And then I had to also use some thicker fuel filler neck, which you can't see, in order to get enough grip on there. It'll still twist a little bit, so go with thicker hose if you have the option. And then I got this aluminum bar, which I got a 2-foot section. You can see I didn't even use half of it, so 1 foot or less is fine. I used 2 by 1/4 by 2, and again, that was too long. Plenty of beef though. painted that with some Rust-Oleum hammered paint, which I think they changed the formula because now it sucks. But it was great back then. And then the back, I hook all this up with a quick connect air fitting. Male end, female end. That's into some kind of a, I forget what it was. It's a hydraulic fitting, which is, I believe, left threaded to go into the air fitting, and then right threaded on the inside, which fits this, I think it's a ball joint, U-joint part. They have them at your true value, but the guys there probably won't know that these parts all fit together. It took me a couple hours of searching and pushing them to pull parts out for me in order to get it. I did that so I could use an easy steer bracket from that to my main motor on the other boat if I ever wanted to go electric. Because my 15 horse also has the same air fitting on the easy steer bracket. This is not an easy steer bracket. At the back of the back deck, I use these, adjust the camera stand here. Got these off Amazon. There's a red one and a black one. They're just battery terminals. And I go, from the battery I use a cable that runs up to these and nut her down. And then I use a wing nut to connect my kicker motor. Tuck the cable in underneath your board, and everything gives a real nice clean look. Just make sure to tighten those before you go to the lake. These stainless steel cup holders are about $10 for two online. And they might seem a little bit big, but if you drink Gatorade, you'll appreciate their size. Go to Fred Meyer for $8 and you get one of these cup holders. You can hold your fingernail clippers. Do not bite your fishing line with your teeth. It'll make a little valley and ravines in your teeth. Ask me how I know. These work great. I've got some fishing rod tubes in here. They ended up being too small for the largest eyes on my rods. So now I have to rework that and get new tubes. Can't recommend those. On the oars, I didn't want them taking up room in the boat. Just the tripod here. Everyone on YouTube is getting sick. So on the oars, I just have an aluminum bracket. It goes from the floor up to the sidewall of the boat. And in the middle, there's another screw. It's actually two pieces of aluminum, one on each side of the oar paddle. And put the screw through the first plate, and then I put fuel line over the screw, and then go through the next plate. That way, the oar paddles aren't rubbing on threaded bolts and getting worn down. And then up here, I just have that fastened with a snap, like a button snap on a coat, but I have found that you can't use that when trailering because they're not strong enough, only on the lake. So, I don't know if I can recommend that or not. Up front, I keep my front seat on a cooler base. Again, I don't mount it permanently. That way, when you catch your fish, slide that. Nope, backwards. Slide your spring seat base. Lift your lid. Throw your fish in there. And then you're back in shape. Now the other benefit of using a seat base with the strap here, I guess there's not another benefit involved here, but whatever. When I'm trailering, I take that strap, run through my eye bolt, and your load's not going anywhere. So now your front seat's fastened by your strap. Your back seat is fastened by your ropes. I take the motor off, but then your quick connect fitting will stay on the boat and you just tighten your clamps. Up in the front, I cut my deck out for my anchor. So now if I want to throw the anchor, I can do that. But if I want to store it and trailer to the leg, right now the bow line's in the way. For trailering to the lake, I am set. It doesn't rub on the insides of the hole that I found, so it seems to be working out well. So now I got a full clean deck up front, full clean deck at the back if I want to stand back there. But in the meantime, for fishing, I got all this open deck. All of my fishing boxes fit back there. Somehow, if you want to take note of this, my seat base, if you're going to build one, is perfectly, it's perfect height for the back of the seat to fit over the deck. So I end up gaining an extra 6 inches and still be able to turn. So it just opens the deck up a little bit more. That's about it. I use the Rust-Oleum, make sure I give you the right name here. Rust-Oleum High Performance Protective Enamel, and then I added Valspar Enamel Hardener to it. For the price, it's worked great. I also bought a $13 paint gun off of Amazon, which worked great. You'll notice my fancy runs. Use stainless steel hardware on everything. And here is the hardener. The paint gun I bought worked great for what I was spraying. I know that's in Spanish, but hopefully you get the part number. The gun itself has W71 paint printed on it. Again, I think it's like 15 bucks. And I used a larger tank, so if you've got a little potbelly 2-gallon tank, you're probably not going to be able to keep up. That's my boat.